little children, I'll take thee away into a land of enchantment. Come, little children, the time's come to play here in my garden of shadows.
Hello, I'm Runya, aka Media Adaptation.
And I'm Ada.
And welcome you back to Moderation, where all media is fair game. And if you'd like to give feedback, then feel free to leave a comment or hit up our Discord channel. Link will be down in the description below. And we're continuing our 31 days of Halloween. We'll do a video each day for the month of October, based on your past suggestions. Some creepy, some not. But anyway, I hope you enjoy them. Anyway, it's time once again to talk about the supposedly lost day style anime Go For A Punch, aka Saki Sanobashi, where we cover any new developments on the Discord and Reddit channels, and then cover some older anime and manga. Team Saki, the group behind the recreation project, has put out a 9-second animation for the start of their story. I know it takes a long time to make something like this, and I'm glad you guys finally put it out. We also received a response from the Saki-themed music video that aired a while back, which reads as the following. The video is clearly a homage to the Saki Sanobashi urban legend. It was inspired by the search for the anime, as opposed to the original anime itself. It's said that the artist who did the illustrations in the beginning, Sinku Knife, was a very active writer for horror-themed adult comics in the 1980s, and the logo intro is an homage to the Fairy Dust series of adult OVAs from around that time. The idea behind that being that if there was really a Saki Sanobashi animation, for what it's worth, I'm a pretty big collector of the 80s horror manga from the time, and I'm also relatively familiar with the horror anime as well, again from that time. And I haven't come across anything that could be an analog for Saki Sanobashi. Doesn't mean that it's not out there, of course, but if it does exist, then it's something that's really, really obscure. So it's really good to actually hear someone from Japan actually say something about this. Again, a lot of stuff in the time is really not well documented, but we can at least rule out a lot of the mainline entries. And again, besides that, there's not much else. A few things about checking out the dark anime sites that were found about a month ago, but nothing useful has surfaced as of yet. Over on the Reddit, we have a few people asking about the connections between Saki and Lady in the Sea of Blood. Again, I think it was an example of a lost film that had similar subject matter. There were rumors about an anime that was made of it, but no information about it has come to light. There's also another post asking about those who have claimed to have seen it, and seeing if there's any correlation or any new information that can be learned from it. There's also a post trying to explain the need to focus on facts and not just rumors, which has been something that has caused a lot of issues in the past, citing things like Niku Daruma. Over on the other Reddit, we have someone generally asking about the anime Euphoria. Again, yes, it does have a lot of aspects that we're looking for, but no, it's not Saki. But still, it's an anime we need to do a full review later down the line. There's still a lot of trolls over there, but also a few people generally asking if there's any new information to be found. Sadly, you guys are still asking in the wrong place for that. And as for anime this week, we've been asked to cover Odin, Photon Space Stellar Starlight, from 1985. The version I watched was the subtitled one, which clocks in about 2.5 hours. I bring this up because apparently there was an English dub made, and it only lasted for about 90 minutes. So there was an hour that was cut from it, and I can see why, as it's so boring. It's another space anime from the time that randomly gets a distress call. Sadly, it's not another Alien or The Thing horror film like last time. They find a sole survivor, a girl with white hair, and they battle a robot network that enslaved their creators. And while that sounds cool on paper, this only happens after an hour and a half in. They also use this naval ship-inspired construction, which they call laser sails, which is based on the real theory of solar cells, which uses the photons of light to push the ships and... Oh dear sweet god, why is this explanation more interesting than the actual space combat itself? This film has all the hallmarks of a bad anime. Several characters who get no real development, and most of them look the same. poor pacing out the wazoo, complete with tacked on lines, and decisions that try to make the show seem smarter than what it is. And then a deus ex machina that's quite literally pulled out of someone's ass so they can somehow win. Yeah, if it wasn't too clear by now, just don't watch this one. And for adult animation of the time, we have Mr. Lucky from 1989. It did have a lost dub that was found a little while ago, which aired on the Playboy channel in 1991. The plot involves a family that has run adult establishments in Japan for decades, and recently other competitors have stepped in, and their profits have taken a hit. So the chairman charges his son with going on a sexual quest and learning what the other places have to offer and how best to adapt to save the company. Also, to make sure he doesn't half-ass it, he puts a bounty on his head. Well, on his other head anyway. If the women can best him in bed, then they win a large cash reward, which is also his inheritance. If he passes each task, he'll then earn his place as the future head of the company. Also, he talks to his wang, which is an otter. It's a very, very weird show. There are 3 parts of the story, and we only look at the first one, mostly due to time constraints. So tell us if you'd like for us to finish up the rest of the story all at once, or have them wait their turn and continue to do them in chronological order. And now to end this video, let's look at another manga by Shinmu. Again, we're now entering the stuff that didn't get translated over. So, a lot like ones like Terror Knights or I Married the Ring Girl, we're having to do all this by hand. So I'm not saying it's going to be a perfect account. Again, Google Translate can only go so far. But we're still going to give it a try anyway. Which is also weird, as the only way it actually works is if we download it and actually open it in a video editor. Which is fine, it just takes some time. But anyway, let's look at today's offering, which is Yuki-chan. We start off in kindergarten with a girl named Fuki, drawing a picture of 2 girls. One of her classmates walks over to her and asks who she's drawing, pointing to the first one, saying it's herself, and then when she points to the other one, she replies with, "It's Yuki-chan." To which she asks who that is, as there's no one in the class by that name. She says that it's her friend. She asks where she lives, and she replies that she's floating in the snow, to which she doesn't quite understand. After class, she runs home and shows the picture to her mom, and they hang it on the wall. And again she asks who's the other girl, only replying with her friend Yuki-chan. The next day after she gets back, she goes to take it off the wall, but her mom makes her leave it there as they go to run errands. But in the next day, she repeats it again, and her mom asks her why she feels the need to take it with her, to which she just stares at her, and then replies, "'Cause she's her friend." Later, she brings it everywhere with her, treating it like a real person, trying to feed it, take a bath with it, and even to bed, much to her mom's annoyance. She tries to explain to her that it's just a drawing and not a real person, and she only replies with, "But she's her friend." And she keeps drawing her again and again. She asks her father if they should seek help, but he declines, saying it's only just a phase. We then skip ahead a few years as she draws in her notebook. One of her friends introduces a new girl who also likes her drawing. They ask her if she wants to join them outside to play, but she declines, only wanting to focus on her drawings. Next, we're in high school, and she's taken up painting. And again, one of her classmates asks why she keeps drawing the same girl, again replying that it's her friend Yuki-chan. And my brain also kind of melts a little, because that's a girl from the first manga that we read, who died in kindergarten. But to be fair, the other girl who knew her was stuck in a time loop, so all this could be in some sort of weird purgatory, but I digress. We then flash to her as an adult, doing the day-to-day of a normal job. But when she gets back, her house is covered in sketches of her. And when she closes her eyes, she sees her again as a child. And the drawing changes as she grows up, reminding her that she's now an adult, and therefore there's nothing to stop her, and asks if she could visit her. So without hesitation, she packs up and heads out, and everywhere she goes, she continues to draw her, no matter the location or region that she's in. But after getting caught in a snowstorm, she sees a light that warms her heart and rushes to it. And there in the middle is Yuki-chan, which, if you haven't guessed by now, is a Yuki-onna, the woman of the snow. The little girl is relieved to finally see her once again, after all these years, meaning that she was caught in a similar snowstorm when she was younger. And as the two finally reunite, they hug, and then fade away, leaving behind only the picture that she drew of her all those years ago. It's weird to see one of these stories actually end on a happy note, given all of his other work. The whole obsession thing had me guessing that it was going to take a very different route. But still, it's a nice story. But thankfully, there's still plenty of other projects that we can go over, so we have that to look forward to next time. And that about does it for this video. If you have any other ideas like seeing made into a video, then please post it down in the comments below, and we'll add it to our next viewer request week.
It's now time for the part of the show where we ask you to help us appease the YouTube algorithm by dropping a like, share, or comment. It helps out much more than you'd think.
And if you haven't subscribed yet, then it's very much appreciated. And if you'd like to support this channel, then please visit our Patreon. Link will be down in the description below. Even if you can't give a lot, every little bit helps.
We also have a Let's Play channel where we play different horror games, or just whatever he feels like sometimes. The link to it is also in the description.
And I guess I'll see you in the next one. Anyway, I'm Runya.
And I'm Ada.
Remind you to take life in moderation.
Weep not, poor children, for life is this way.